Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor and privilege for me to be here this evening to introduce my very good friend, Chrystia Freeland. I had the pleasure of serving with Chrystia in both cabinet and caucus, and I know her to be nothing short of extraordinary. Her hard work, her vision for this country, and her fearless ability to take action when others are standing still has always been inspiring to me. Take a look when she brought in, or she had a very good hand in bringing in national childcare. This was public policy that was long on the books and needed to move families, women, and children's lives forward, and it will be impactful going forward. I can say with confidence, without Chrystia being Canada's finance minister at the time, I don't know if this public policy would have got implemented. And it's the best public policy we brought in 50 years. I can also say that I was with Chrystia when I think it was 2017, the TransMountain Pipeline, the decision by our government to get behind this. She stood up for Alberta. She recognized it was a project of national importance, and she also understood that we might lose some votes in Ontario and Quebec. And she said, no, this is the right thing to do, and she put the shoulder behind the wheel and was one of Alberta's biggest champions in the House of Commons. You know, we also remember that the first term of President Trump back in 2016, and he wanted to negotiate a new NAFTA. So who led the charge on the Canadian team? It was Chrystia. She went down there and not only negotiated a fair deal, but actually elevated Canada's stature on the world stage. And I have every confidence that she'll put Canada first, and she's not going to take any nonsense from a president of the United States. She will continue to lead Canada and keep it strong, proud, and free going forward. Hey. So, without further ado, I want to introduce the Honorable Chrystia Freeland. She will be a great leader of the Liberal Party. She will be a great Prime Minister, and I have every confidence that she will lead us to victory in the next election, which is what we truly need to happen. Take it away, Chrystia.
Thank you so much, Kent. And I just want to start by paying tribute to the great Kent Hare. Let's all give him a hand. He has been an amazing public servant, an amazing elected official for this city, for this province, and for our country. And it was a real privilege for me to serve in caucus and to serve in cabinet with Kent. And, you know, it can be hard being an elected person. It can be hard being a Liberal, an elected Liberal in Calgary. And so could we just really please appreciate Kent and give him a real hand? And I know that so many of the people who are here tonight are here because you work with Kent, because you've seen his community building, his province building, his nation building, and I know you're here for him. And I'm grateful to you, and I really admire you, Kent. And I'm really just so glad to be your friend and your colleague. Another group of people I really admire are Alberta Liberals. Yeah. Okay, Alberta Liberals are the best Liberals because they are accustomed to functioning in inclement weather and adverse circumstances. And I know it's tough to be a Calgary Liberal, but I just want you to reflect for a moment on what it's like to be a Peace River Liberal, okay? That's the family I grew up in. And there are some people here who remember my grandfather Wilbur Freeland and my dad Don, who ran for Liberals federally and provincially in Peace River. That was like a thing, right? And the thing I know about Alberta Liberals that makes me love Alberta Liberals is a person doesn't become a Liberal in Alberta out of some opportunistic, career-minded sentiment. You don't really do it to help you do business deals. And you don't even do it to have like an easier time while you're golfing with your pals. A person is a Liberal in Alberta out of true conviction. And that is what I so admire about everyone who is here in this room. So I want to say to everyone here, thank you very much. You are totally, totally amazing. And I want to say one more thing about Alberta Liberals, which I also admire hugely. You can't be an Alberta Liberal without knowing what it is to reach across party lines and to work across party lines and to have friends and colleagues and neighbors, maybe even your spouse, who are not Liberals, and to know that we are strongest when we work together. That's what it means to be an Alberta Liberal. And I'll tell you guys one of my favorite moments from the leadership campaign so far. I went up to Peace River at the end of last week, and we did a little event at the Board and Barrel. If anyone goes to Peace River, it's actually a very good restaurant. My like big city Eastern young staff supporters were a little bit scared about what the food would be like. You were, admit it, Montreal people. And it was excellent. So anyway, so we went there, and it was more a gathering. It wasn't a fundraiser. But at the end, a few people wrote checks. And then they said, who do we make it out to? Chrystia Freeland campaign? We said, no, Liberal Party. And they said, I cannot actually write a check to the Liberal Party. It is too painful for me. So they made us fill it out. And why is that a precious story for me? Because what it says to me is we can work together in Peace River, in Calgary, in Alberta, in our whole country. And I know that Alberta Liberals, they know how to fight. They know how to be people who dedicate themselves to what they believe in. And they know how to respect and work with people who disagree with them. And that is what our country really, really needs right now. So thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Je suis tellement contente d'être ici ce soir. Pour moi, c'est un moment quand notre pays, le Canada, notre identité canadienne, le bilinguisme de notre pays est plus importante que jamais. C'est un moment quand nous tous sommes plus fiers que jamais que nous sommes Canadiens. Someone said to me tonight, maybe we even have to be grateful to President Trump for reminding us how much we love our country. I'm not going to go that far. I won't. I just can't. But I will say that this is a moment when, in a really magnificent way, spontaneously, unanimously, Canadians across the country are saying, expletive deleted off. We're not going to be the 51st state. We love Canada. We are proudly Canadian. I was speaking with someone tonight who owns a restaurant who was saying that the waiters are getting hell from the customers if they serve American wine. She said, we bought it before the tariff threat. It's okay. What a great country we are, that's what we're doing. that we're standing up and fighting for Canada. And, you know, I am here, I'm running for the leadership of the Liberal Party, and I'm running to be the next Prime Minister of Canada because I know that we have to stand up and fight for Canada. And I have a plan. I have the experience of winning this fight. And at the end of the day, and maybe a little bit of this comes from being an Alberta girl, I have the guts to do it. I would even say if I didn't offend people and violate political correctness, I have the balls to do this. And it is a job that requires guts and balls. It's in a non-gendered way. It's a job that requires someone who is prepared to stand up to bullies. And I stood up to Trump and got a good deal for Canada. Yeah.
We did.
I stood up to Putin. That war is not over, but we're going to stand with our Ukrainian friends, and I know they're going to win too, and we're going to keep on standing with them. And when I had to, I stood up to the Prime Minister, and that was important too. I am so proud to be here with Liberals and maybe Liberal curious people. We like you too, and we're grateful to have you here. I'm so proud of so many things Liberals stand for and have accomplished. Kent mentioned some of the greatest hits already. I am so proud of the Canada Child Benefit. That is transformational, and we need to be sure we remind Canadians how important it is so we keep it. Kent and I have worked together for a long time. We know each other well. Early learning and childcare. This is one of my proudest accomplishments. I don't like to talk about being, you know, a woman minister. I would just like to talk about being a good minister. But I do think it's not an accident that it took Canada's first woman finance minister to get $10 a day daycare. And that is going to be transformational. It is already changing lives. It is helping young Canadians. It is helping young women know they can have a job, they can have a career, and they can have a child. Running for the leadership is like it's a full family affair. So everyone in my family has a job. And my 15-year-old son, when he learned that 14 plus can sign up, has been recruiting all his pals. And I heard him urgently talking to one of his friends, and he said, you have to sign up for the Liberal Party, and you have to vote for my mother, because we need to have $10 a day daycare when we have kids. So isn't that nice? Little teenage boys, not so little actually, caring about this and thinking about their future. And we are the party, we are the government that did that. And I'll tell you something else we did, which I am so proud of, and which I mentioned in our last budget speech, got in a little bit of hell, as Kent pointed out, with the Ontario, Quebec, and BC caucus, and that is the TransMountain Pipeline. And to the people here who built it, I want to give you guys a hand. It really means a lot to me that you accomplished that and that you're here tonight. I knew that that was a nation-building project, that was something Canada needed, that we needed to liberate ourselves from our dependence on the US to sell our oil. I knew that when we did it, and you know, from the time we started, we bought the pipeline and started as a government leading the charge, there was not a month that went by when someone didn't say, oh, for God's sake, let's just sell it, let's just get rid of it. And I knew that was wrong. But I have to tell you today, isn't it such a good thing that we have that pipeline, that we have that capacity to the Pacific? So amazing,
Absolutely.
Thank you. This is about energy security and it's about national security. And I said to Mark, if I am elected, if I'm chosen as leader of the Liberal Party and become Prime Minister, one of the first things I'm going to do is spend another $3 or $4 billion on the TransMountain Pipeline and buy some compressors, because then we can increase the capacity by 20% without building any more pipelines at all. We have to do that. We have to be proud of the fact that we are an energy superpower. We need leverage. And being an energy superpower gives us leverage. One of the strongest arguments, I did an interview on CNN yesterday, because I'm trying to be out there and sort of help the Americans understand why what they are doing is a really bad idea. Because you have to. At the end of the day, Trump is not going to listen to us. The people he's going to listen to are Americans, and so we have to build up the pressure there. That's okay, right? Canadian politicians, we should listen to Canadians. We shouldn't listen to Americans. And one of the things I said in that interview is putting tariffs on Canadian aluminum is really dumb, because aluminum is electricity in solid form. So what you're doing is taxing energy. And I thought you guys didn't have enough energy, right? I thought you're in this superpower race with China to build AI, and you're making energy more expensive. And afterwards, the interviewer, I've known her for a long time, she said to me, that was such a good argument. No one has said that before. And for me, what that underscores is the power of energy, how important it is for us as a country. It's always been important for our economy, but it has become more than that. Producing energy in Canada and having access to international markets is today a central source of national security for Canada. And so that's one reason I'm very glad to be in the Petroleum Club with the great people who produce energy for Canada and make our country stronger. So thank you for that. And I just want to say one last thing. And that is, I am running to be leader of the Liberal Party and the next Prime Minister of Canada because I know what it takes. I know that this is a moment when we need to fight for Canada. And I know, I love our country so much. We have such a great country. It is a privilege for all of us to, yell when the waiter offers us California wine, to do the things that we can do ourselves, to fight for our country. It is a privilege to do it. I know I can do it because I stood up to Trump before, and we actually don't tell the Americans this part. The deal we got was better than the one we had before. And I know that we have to unite the home team. The key in any trade negotiation is you have to start by having the home team work together. And I know we have to do that. I worked with the premiers and with business and with labor during the first NAFTA negotiation during COVID. I know how to do that again. And I do have the absolute conviction and the guts to do it. And I have to tell you, one person who we have to beat and who we cannot have representing Canada at that table is Pierre Poilievre. In the House of Commons, he has been talking Canada down for months and months. I've sometimes felt, and I accused him of this in question period, that he had an inferiority complex vis-a-vis the United States. It's true, right? Think about all the stuff he's been saying. And, I don't think he's a guy who wants to stand up to Trump. I think he is a guy who wants to suck up to Trump. I think he wants to be the apprentice. And he does, it's true. And what we need now is a leader who recognizes that we do not want to be the 51st state, that our country is magnificent, that our country is united in this conviction. And I truly believe, I know that when we are united, strong, and smart, we cannot be defeated. I know that we can and we will win. And I see that conviction in the faces of everyone here. Merci beaucoup pour votre présence. Merci beaucoup pour votre travail. Merci beaucoup pour votre appui. Thank you so, so much. Please, if you're a Liberal, and I think most people here are Liberals, I need you to vote for me on March 9th. This is an amazing moment, by the way, for Alberta Liberals. Even better to be a Peace River Liberal than a Calgary Liberal, but pretty good